back when games were still made with passion was when I was the ripe old age of 5, so I couldn't really appreciate the games industry at that time. However, I wasn't gonna let such petty things as legal age limits, whatever that means, stop me from playing my favorite video games, which is probably why I bought GTA 5 when I was 10. Fallout New Vegas has been a sticking point for me. On one hand, it's an apocalyptic survival game with crafting mechanics and skill points I need to distribute, but on the other hand, people say it's really good and a testament to good game design, where actually passionate people who only moderately wanted to steal my wallet made video games, and I feel like I'm slowly turning into a weird mix of zero punctuation and Setsazine talk. But you're here to see my thoughts on this game, which is probably why you clicked on the video, unless you're a Luddite who somehow survived this long based solely on smashing your head on the screen. God, I love the jokes. I haven't really played any game like Fallout New Vegas except Fallout 4 and The Outer Worlds and Fallout 3 and Rage 2 and Skyrim, and I'm already tired of this nonsense. What I mean is that Fallout New Vegas, while not having any game mechanics which are any different from its peers, the bullets still come out of the gun with equal gusto, equivalent to a dog who just heard its owner accidentally drop an entire shopping trolley full of sausages. It's just really satisfying when I talk to someone who managed to convince them to give up on their entire life and give me all of their caps doing nothing but my speech and a loaded missile launcher. I feel like a god among men. But this isn't where Fallout New Vegas shines, because the game is only as good as the stories it creates and the fun it brings on the inevitable road to non-existence. So let me tell you my story in New Vegas.
You got what you were after, so pay up.
You're crying in the rain, Pally.
Guess who's waking up over here?
Time to cash out.
Will you get it over with?
Maybe cons kill people without looking them in the face. From where you're kneeling must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
After getting shot, I woke up in an old guy's house. He then proceeded to give me some supplies and a pistol, and I proceeded to thank him and leave. I realized I was in a small town called Goodspring, and after some talking, realized there was a war breaking out imminently. Being the type to find any reason to kill hard-working bandits, I proceeded to help the town and recruited everyone I could and proceeded to powderize the aptly named powder gangers. After being crowned a hero, I immediately left and headed forth till I stumbled upon a town called Prim. This town also unfortunately had a bandit shooting me on sight problem, so after killing all of them without so much as a scraped knee, I met a quivering child who I mistook for a man who was probably the bandit's live-in gimp. I'd untied him and he explained that he was the town's deputy and I was going to be tasked to help find the sheriff. He directed me to a nearby prison complex where I could possibly find one. At the prison, I discovered that it was infested with more powder gangers, and without a single word I butchered everyone and made the last survivor the sheriff of Prim. He pointed me to an NCR outpost to get him pardoned because apparently the pieces of flesh on the bottom of my shoe that once might have been a body might come and arrest him again. At the outpost, a lady with a sniper rifle directed me to see what was going on at a nearby town called Nipton, and another redhead told me to find work at her company, which I politely said I would try because even in my brain-hemorrhage state, I knew that MLMs would be the death of me. After getting the guy his pardon, I went back to Prim and discovered a broken robot at an old post office, and after fixing it, took it along with me as a laser-firing body shield, and we journeyed towards Nipton. Arriving at Nipton, I met a screaming man who after some discussion revealed himself to be a powder ganger. I immediately turned his insides into outsides with my ripper and headed into town. Apparently, a bunch of furries calling themselves Caesar's Legion, to seem more legitimate I suppose, had burned the place to the ground. The head furry explained that they would graciously let me live to tell the tale of what happened at Nipton, to which I scoffed at and graciously gave his head a few more holes to breathe out of. My companion then proceeded to turn all of his lackeys into a fine soup, and we left the town without much hassle. After a period of walking aimlessly, I found a weirdly quiet plain with 3 bunkers. The intercoms were silent, so I buggered off, continuing in a straight line. I then wandered into a small roadside cafe when a weird lady in a sack initiated a conversation with me. Before I could deny whatever sexual fetish she possessed to cause her to wear such undoubtedly uncomfortable and itchy lingerie, she explained that she just wanted a partner to adventure with. She also explained that she had connections to a secret faction of weird tech psychos in a nearby bunker. Blimey, what a skill set, eh? This was convenient, I thought, as I agreed to let her join with me and we returned to the bunker. Upon entering the bunker, I was greeted with a democratic group of nutters with access to high-octane plasma rifles that apparently ran on magic instead of something like electricity, because they could turn flesh into ash, but apparently not steaks because they were made of rocks apparently. And because I was Veronica's master, I could go anywhere I wanted. Even though they still wanted me to do what was basically a fetch quest of their patrols that I was 100% sure were dead, and I only agreed because I was just going to go so that I could take their power armor to sell back to them. On the way to one of the sites, I met Shrek, or I thought he was Shrek until he told me his name was Neil, but I'm still gonna call him Shrek. He wanted me to stop some kind of brainwashing on top of the Black Mountain, which I thought was some kind of euphemism, but was actually just a radio antenna. After massacring all of the mutants and blue mutants, I was about to talk to the head mutant when I stumbled upon a robot named Rhonda. It was turned off and it just needed a quick switch on, and after it was back up and running, the mutant came in, forgetting about the whole killing everyone business, and just kind of thanked me and left. That was anticlimactic, I thought as I left towards the Repcon Center. Arriving at the Repcon Center, I must have had too much radiation poisoning from drinking all of that nuclear waste as my entire game froze and crashed. I hadn't saved in over an hour and just decided to say bollocks to it. And thus, the courier's tale came to an end, weirdly stopping before a robot manufacturing plant and never moving again. I might take another crack at this in my spare time. Overall, I hope you enjoyed it. It was pretty fun.